This is George Dionne of the Rock is George podcast, and this is a KNAC.com exclusive interview with vocalist SEAN PECK of the American heavy metal act Death Dealer. If I knew absolutely nothing about Death Dealer, how would you describe the band's music to me?
Worst band in the world, total shit. Do not waste your time. No, basically, if you had a love child of Wasp, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, and a little touch of like thrash with sweeping arpeggios and the most classic leads and the greatest vocals ever, that would be kind of what you would get.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
You have
in a nutshell.
You have a new album coming out on January 23rd, 2026 called Reign of Steel through Massacre Records. Your last release was an EP, Fuel Injected Suicide Machine, came out in 2021. How soon after the release of that EP did you start writing Reign of Steel?
Well, it was weird because we recorded like literally like 80 songs between Death Dealer and my other band's Cage and the three Tremors that I have with Ripper Owens. And so we had finished two complete albums within a span of like 3 weeks. We were just doing nothing but writing and recording. And so we had actually Reign of Steel is album number 4. We had actually harvested 4 songs off album number 5 and brought them back in time for the EP. So the EP is actually songs from album number 5. So not only it wasn't my idea to release an EP. It was a great EP, but that was like management's idea, but it was well received. But this album, the good news, if you like this album, there is another album that's right around the corner because it's basically already done. The Reign of Steel has been done for 4 years. We've been sitting on this album for 4 years, waiting to find the right partner, and now here it is.
2021 was a wacky year. Were you concerned that the EP might have been the end of Death Dealer?
The way, Stu Marshall is the guitar player from Australia, and he calls him and I the McCarthy and Lennon of heavy metal as far as a writing team. That's his words, not mine. High praise, the very high bar to be set, but it's like, we just pump out classic heavy metal songs just like a conveyor belt. So we didn't really think it was going to be the end because every 5 minutes he emails me some new riff.
Now, you said the music has been completed for quite some time, but did you do any touch-ups prior to the release?
The way that we'll get the song structure together, and then I will write lyrics and then record it. Literally every song I record is the first time I've ever sang it. So the album version is the first time I've ever sang that song. That's pretty weird, but I don't like to waste a lot of notes like, Ronnie James Dio said. So, I don't want to do a bunch of scratch tracks. I want to go in and just like, let's nail it as perfect as it can get. So there wasn't a lot, there was, mixing and mastering changes, but as far as the tracks, not really.
Why don't we talk about the single that you released ahead of the album, Blast the Highway? Tell me a little bit about that song.
This is a throwback to when you would drive an 84 Camaro with a 6-pack of cold Budweiser on the seat next to you, drinking and driving, smoking weed, and headed to a riverbed party to pick up chicks, and then blasting the stereo right out of your car. I mean, those were the days. These kids today, they don't know how good we had it, man. They don't know, not a cell phone in sight. It's just a throwback to, get in your car and, push the pedal to the metal. It's not a deep cerebral, thought-provoking lyrical content on this one. But I learned, from some of my other bands that you don't hit them with the nuclear bomb song on the first one. You got to ease them into it. And this was, not the best. It's a great track, but it's not the best track on the album, which, Most people do. So you want to tease them a little bit and then, hit them over the head with the musical sledgehammer, tracks 2 or 3.
So, which song is the musical sledgehammer?
We have one coming up called Bloodbath. That will be the next one. It's about a story about the USS Indianapolis, which was the story that Flint tells in the movie Jaws. For you kids, if you've not seen Jaws, shame on you. And it's about, they're on a secret mission to deliver parts for the Nagasaki bomb, late World War II. After the delivery, they get sunk by Japanese U-boats, and 900 people get eaten alive by sharks and die in the water. It's a lovely holiday tale of glee and joy. But a super metal topic. It's like 2.5 minutes long of extreme fast singing thrash, which is not something that Death Dealer is known for. So people will go. This will be one where they go, "Whoa, that's Death Dealer."
So, as an artist, where this material is a little bit on the older side for you, do you get a little tired of the songs?
That is the interesting thing about this record. A lot of our friends have also been sitting on this record for 4 years, and they still, they keep. I get comments all the time like, "Dude, I still listen to this album once or twice a week." So this is one that's already been market tested, and this is definitely, stands the test of time. Like you can put on a Scorpions album, any, Blackout or any time, and it doesn't matter. You'll still listen to that. I saw Dennis DeYoung had a good comment. He says music is the only thing that you can listen to the same song like 1,000 times, but you won't watch the same movie or read the same book 1,000 times. Music is the only medium that does that. So this has a really high level of replay value, and that's coming from a market, a deep amount of market research.
Now, just as important as the music in heavy metal is the album cover, and Death Dealer's always had fantastic album covers. This particular one is by Dusan Markovic and Alex Yarborough. I know you work with Alex a lot in the past. Have you worked with Dusan before?
Yeah, Alex is kind of the guy that does the interiors and the booklet and places the logo and stuff. This is all Dusan. Dusan's pretty well known in the metal underground. This guy, he looks like Mr. Clean. He looks like he's been on steroids all his life, bald. He looks like a UFC action figure, and yet he can put out art like this. I mean, am I going too far by saying this might be the album cover of the year? I mean, I'm asking, is that a stretch? I don't think so.
The EP cover was pretty spectacular too.
Nice. Well, thank you very much. That was Mark Sasso, who's well known for doing all the Ronnie James Dio stuff.
So, do you have to provide Dusan a rough drawing of what you want, or you just tell him what you want and he knows?
I do rough drawings, and I'm going to put out a book of my rough drawings of all the albums I've done because it is pretty damn comical. Mark Sasso and I always have. We joke about that when I send him the concept art of just how crude. I mean, it's like there's kindergartners drawing stuff, and then there's like when you're like 1 year old trying to draw something. It's kind of what my stuff looks like. But somehow, man, we get there. Somehow we get there, and we make it magical.
Now, you mentioned looking for the right partner for the release of Reign of Steel, and you found that in Massacre Records. Normally, you release your albums through your own imprint, Steel Cartel. So how did
You've done your research? This guy has done his research here.
I've talked to you before. How did you end up signing the deal with Massacre?
Well, Massacre Records did the Darker Than Black album for Cage, and then we got courted by the seductive, tantalizing, false promises of Joey DeMaio from MANOWAR. That led us to a pretty rough breakup with Massacre Records, about as rough as you can get. And time heals all wounds, and now here we are back with Massacre Records. And yeah, I mean, if you Google it, you could probably find some stuff online, but they've been great, So, people change. It's like getting back together with your old girlfriend. So, it's a warm, familiar body, and so far they're doing a great job.
So the Joey DeMaio thing, I'm assuming he tantalized you away from that label to whatever label he was working on, and it just blew up.
I used to have a really good Joey DeMaio impersonation. But it'll be in my memoirs how that all went down. When the time when we got in a big argument and I said, "Why don't you pull out your ATM slip and I'll pull out mine and let's see who has more money in the bank right now." So I mean, those were the kind of discussions that we had. And now who's in Death Dealer? Ross the Boss, who started MANOWAR with Joey DeMaio. So you would think he'd be smart enough to get Ross back in MANOWAR, but he's so stubborn that he's going to deny that. But don't get me on this tangent. Don't get. I'm going to get in trouble if
You,
we
you
keep
could put
going.
it in your book of rough sketches.
We will. Yeah, yeah. The rough sketches will be in the memoirs, though. That's
So
going to be a hot book.
have you relented any on making your music available for streaming? I know you've some of
Yeah,
your
I've given up the battle. I mean, I was the lone man standing on top of the hill. No, Spotify, with them all coming up at me. I was the lone soldier. I'm proud of my, I'm proud of the stance I took because I was right, when everyone said, "Oh, you're crazy." The funny thing is, Death Dealer, we were on Swedish Music Group back in like 2014, and they were tech guys. And they brought us into Spotify headquarters in Stockholm. We went in there and got the carte blanche tour. And, we were all like, "Oh man, this is amazing." And Ross, the boss, was like, "I want to burn this motherfucking place down right now." And we're like, "Man, what's wrong with you? Why is Ross so mad?" And he was right, way back then. And I was trying to make jokes of asking them who's in charge of their MySpace page. And, those Swedes don't have much of a sense of humor. Like, "We do not have a MySpace page. We do not have MySpace." I'm like, it's a joke a little bit. Anyway, so yeah, this thing's going to be on Spotify, up, down, round, one way or the other. And my next thing is I'm gonna do a cover album of where I cover all AI songs. Like I'm actually covering the AI songs. And then I'm gonna put out a thing that says AI band members quit. I want to see that on the media where some AI band members are gonna actually quit their band over some sort of dispute. That's where I'm at with that.
And then they're going to fight over the AI name.
Yeah, they should. And then there'll be two different AI bands with the same name with different members. It's
Mm.
coming, man. That's where it's headed. I love AI music. Everyone's like, "AI's killing it." Like that's all I listen to is AI bands now. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Some of the best singers on AI bands. I mean, damn.
yeah. My wife was listening to one of those. She's like, "I really like this band. It's really good." And I looked them up, and I'm like, "It's an AI band. It's not even a real person."
Yeah, I mean, all the band members look like supermodels. It's crazy how it works.
Everything's AI, from the music to the imagery to everything. It's great.
It's funny though, they put out the album and then they show like the band with like five guys standing there, and you're like, "Oh, that band those dudes look sick."
Yeah, but just think, when you pass on, you could have Death Dealer live forever in AI.
Well, I was talking to Ripper and I'm going, "Dude, why don't you just have a video screen of some dudes playing guitar behind you and just play the tracks and you get up there. They're only there to hear you sing anyway. You don't need a freaking band. Just get up there and sing over the tracks. What's the big deal?" He'll make twice the money that way.
You may be right.
He's a professional musician. He's one of the only ones of us that's actually making a living at this. So much respect to Ripper Owens.
What are the chances of catching Death Dealer live in 2026?
0 to none. No, I'm just kidding. We're waiting for the phone to ring. We're out there. This band started where we played like 4 club shows in Southern California and Mexico. And then we went straight to doing 11 arena shows in Europe. So we totally skipped the whole line and played 11 arena shows. And we were well received. No one really knew what Death Dealer was. We're playing in Moscow. They don't know who's Death Dealer. And the place went, there was magic with, in that old corncob pipe they found. There's magic playing live with this group. And, we did other tours too. But so it definitely was great, a live experience. So it's available. We're waiting for the phone to ring, but I'm a little tired of just begging people for us to play, like, because I had to book all the shows and like so. The music industry has won the battle against Sean Peck, so to speak. But so I'm just like, you know how to get a hold of me. All the big festivals out there, Death Dealer will come and play. We will kick ass. We with so many songs we never played live. I mean, the set list would be absolutely incredible. So, hopefully it happens. We're talking about it, but we got to see. You know how tough it is out there. Anybody else would have given you a bullshit answer. I'm telling the truth. I am the mayor of Realville here on KNAC.
Well, I would imagine it's also difficult with Ross having his own thing with Ross the Boss and pretty much taking your backing band with him when he does these things. I feel
well,
like
he took my drummer. Yeah, he took my drummer. He took both my drummers. First, he took the Death Dealer drummer. Then he took Sean from Cage. I mean, Ripper stole my drummer too. Jag Panzer just stole my guitar player. I know, at least I know I got a good band because everyone keeps stealing the members. So, at least I made good choices in that respect. But, you could always make the schedule work. But again, like, I have a phone. My number's out there. Call me.
here comes a fun question for you. Back in 2023, I interviewed the drummer of this band called Death Dealer Union. And I asked him about confusion in the heavy metal marketplace with you having Death Dealer. And he kind of brushed off the question. He gave 3 different answers. He said, 1, he didn't know you existed. 2, he said there was no trademark registered for Death Dealer.
There 100% is.
And 3, that you guys lifted the band name from a Canadian band named Death Dealer. So
that is true.
I wanted to find out if you ever had conversation with somebody from Death Dealer Union about the whole name thing.
I mean, to say I've never heard of a band that has Ross the Boss in it, I mean, that just, you kind of give up your metal card right there. So so Stu came to me, when we were putting this thing together. It was the whole way the band started. It was just like a fantasy football draft. We're like, who could we get? We'll get Ross the Boss, and we'll get Halford's bass player, and we were just drinking. We were drinking together, and we just started calling people, and all of a sudden we had a band. We're like, oh shit, we got a band, and so that's how this whole thing started. But he's like, let's call it Death Dealer. I'm like, dude, that name's got to be taken. There's no way. And then we saw, that Canadian band, which is amazing. They're killer. They got killer records. The original Death Dealer. They changed their name from Death Dealer to a derivative of that, I believe, for some reason. And they abandoned the trademark, which happens a lot. You have to re-register after 10 years. So they abandoned the trademark. So I applied for the trademark. So Death Dealer Union saying, I don't have I got the trademark, Death Dealer Union. You're lucky my focus and attention is elsewhere these days. Otherwise, we would have hired. Where are they from? Germany, or where are they from?
They're from here.
Oh, they're from here? Well, it would have been so easy to sue them then, actually.
The singer, Lena Scissorhands from some other heavy metal group. I can't remember right now.
Right. So, good luck, Death Dealer Union. You want to put, we'll try, we'll issue a challenge right here. You try and play one of our songs, and we'll try and play one of your songs and see if you can pull it off. I don't think so. Anyway, so I threw down the gauntlet, but yeah, the Death Dealer trademark was available. We grabbed it, and there's Death Dealer ads in magazines like all over Timbuktu for print ads. I ran more print ads for any band in Europe than frickin' Metallica ran. So it's definitely, you have to be living under a rock in order to not know that, but it's okay. Everyone knows who the real second Death Dealer is.
You have another band, Cage. You've mentioned them a couple of times. The last Cage release was Science of Annihilation, Re-Annihilated. It came out in 2019. It was a re-recording of your 2009 album. Will there be more music from Cage in the future? New music?
That's another album that's been done for 2 years. Tyrant of the Dead. Cage, Tyrant of the Dead. We've got a few different label offers. We're trying to figure out which way we're going to go. So that'll come out next year for sure. Um, and that's another one that's going to put hair on your chest, make women, weak in the knees and testosterone fueled, good old fashioned American heavy metal. So, the last two, three Tremors albums were essentially Cage albums because Cage wrote the music and it just had me singing with two other great singers. But this is, the first official Cage record in quite a while. So, that'll be, people are, we put a lot of miles on that Cage band and we've got a lot of love out there. So we're excited to get that out and have people tell us how great we are again. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's just to hear the admiration.
Well, if you're looking for a label, I hear Massacre Records is pretty good.
Massacres, we'll probably do it on Massacre. We'll probably end up with Massacre.
How about the Three Tremors? Is there any new music in the future for that?
I've been getting a wild hair to maybe do an EP. We have so much material. I mean, there's like from the Cage record, there's like 20 songs on the cutting room floor that we just never finished. So I think that'd be fun, or even just one song. But what I was working on for a while, which is a little bit of news, but like once Merciful Fate got back together, I was working on a project with me, Michael Denner, Pete Black from King Diamond, and a couple former King Diamond members, and we actually had recorded like 3 songs. We had album cover art. I mean, that was going full steam ahead, and Pete Black he's a wild card, man. He's hard to pin down. So he kind of, it was Michael was like waiting for us to kind of put it together, and Pete is got another little thing going that he's going to put out. So that kind of got put to off to the wayside. But man, I might have to release some of those songs because it was really good.
Are you working on any other projects besides Cage and Death Dealer and possibly Three Tremors?
I want to I'm deep into the comic book business now. I'm more famous in the comic book world now than I ever was in music. I sell online on a live streaming app called Whatnot, and then there's also one on eBay Live. And I'm on the camera. If you guys want to come, it's Hell Destroyer Comics. And I'm on there, and I've got scantily clad women sometimes holding up comic books. And, I travel around all these conventions. I work with the top Marvel and DC artists. So that's kind of where my focus has been. But they need to have a musical component built into these conventions. And that's what we're working on with some of the main convention people to maybe bring a comic book band there, like, like an après ski thing after it's done. They meander out into the beer garden and listen to me sing all these. I already have all these superhero songs. I mean, Assemble on the new Death Dealer album is a song about the Avengers. That's the lead track on the record. So it would be very easy for me. So that's one of the things, irons I got in the fire. Being in the comic book world is just like being in the music world, except you actually make money. Very different.
So are you the owner of that publication or do you do some of the art?
Well, we have multifacets. We're like the BlackRock of comic books. We, do events. We do we'll take the Batman comic and then we'll hire an artist to put our own cover on it. So it's a special edition of that. It's called an exclusive. That's one of the things. Then we work with original art. We sell original art for some of the biggest artists in the game, and that's crazy money. It's like buying a condo to buy some of these pieces of art. So it's been a blast, man. And like I said, there's a lot of crossover with heavy metal and comic books. Like there's just metalheads walking through the comic conventions every time, and I'll walk by them and go, "What's up, dude? Coroner's sick, bro." But I'm always singing. They have usernames, and I'll sing their username as they come in, and So occasionally I'll get a guy like, "Are you the lead singer of Cage?" And they're like, "Oh my God!" So, and I'm actually selling more CDs and shirts on those platforms than touring doing shows. So it's working out, man. You gotta move and groove and shift and jive in the music industry.
Absolutely. I believe
Adapt.
there is a comic book band. I think they came out last year. It's Cold Slither. It's based on the GI.
I tried to open for those guys in San Diego, and they didn't have any openers. That's I just bought and sold several Cold Slither issues. The vinyl came out. I didn't go see them because I was busy that night, but totally dig that. The frickin' G. If you guys are listening, Cold Slither is a GI Joe band that Cobra put together from the cartoon in the '80s to infiltrate the youth and convert them over to Cobra through the use of heavy metal. I love it.
I think it might be 40 years a little late on trying to market that, but I mean, again, the comic book world, the nostalgia, the older crowd, the younger crowd might not get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, comic books are all old people because the kids can't afford the stuff that we're putting out there. Like, there's no kids aren't buying $5,000 comic books. You're not finding any of these under the Christmas tree.
So obviously we're talking for KNAC today, and I had talked to you a couple of years ago. You mentioned being at this KNAC event that's Cabo Wabo weekend. I believe it was 1991.
Wow. Is that when it was?
That's all I could find on the internet. I could find
Okay.
one post about it. So I wanted to know what you remembered about it. What I found out about it, it was 1991. It was Alice in Chains, Bang Tango, XYZ, McQueen Street, and Kick Tracy.
Armored uh Armored Saint too.
Armored Saint.
Yeah.
What else could
Because
you
I
tell
played
me
ping
about this?
pong with Gonzo, the drummer, at the resort, and I beat him. It was a hotly contested game. I beat him, and on the last shot, I hit the ball into these sticker bushes, and he went and got the ball, and he just got impaled by these sticker bushes. I remember that. Um, that was wild, man. It was kind of it was. This was really a sign of when the metal was going out and the grunge was coming in because the KNAC guys had these new tapes, and it was like Pearl Jam, the Black Metallica Black album, and like something else. And I'm like, oh, this sounds like hell. This is garbage. Like this is what the hell. These bands suck. I remember I hated it. Um, and Alice in Chains had not blown up yet, so we're just in the pool with Lane Staley frick every night, every day. I drank like 1,000 pina coladas. Armored Saint played. It was sick on some beach like the first night, and the stage like they was made out of frickin' ply. It was like 1 foot high on cinder blocks and plywood, the shittiest thing. And there was like army guys with machine guns like surrounding the whole thing. So we were like, are we gonna get shot here? It was pretty gnarly. And I remember trying to stage dive off a 1 foot stage. Doesn't have the same effect, but the McQueen Street. Wow, that's a friggin', that was a band like, oh, they're gonna blow up. They did not blow up. And I remember the bass player from Alice in Chains just like, oh, dude, I'll get you tickets to the Van Halen tour. Buy me another beer. I mean, he just like, he must not have had to. He was just trying to, he grifted so much cash out of me, so many beers. He would drink a beer and he would just take the bottle and just throw it in the back. He was a freaking complete maniac, like, and would hit someone in the head or something. And like, he was dangerous. Good times though, man. I mean, and I think flying back, the flights got all screwed up and everyone was stranded there for like a day. So classic Mexican KNAC. So there, I should do a blog about it. So there'd be something on the internet to remember it by.
You should, because there's only one post on some guy's Facebook.
That's crazy. Yeah. Great time. Lots of chicks. Cabo. What could go wrong?
Were you working in the industry at the time, or were you a spectator?
No, I was. I think I had. It was early. Cage started in '92, so I think I was in my original band Nomad and my college band Tax Evasion. You can go on YouTube and look up Tax Evasion and see music videos. Um, so yeah, I wasn't deep into it. I was still like starstruck by everybody at that point. And I remember being with a guy, you know, from the Alice in Chains scene, and he was telling me all these crazy rumors about Jeff Tate, which I don't want to say on here because I'll get sued or something. But I was like, "There's no way." He's like, "Dude, I'm telling you." I'm like, "You know, I was his roadie," and I'm like, "All right, dude." So um, that tainted my Tate uh, perspective, like early on. You know, there were signs. There were signs.
I I interviewed you for a different publication a couple of years ago, and you told the Jeff Tate story. So that interview is out there. And
Did I tell the Jeff Tate story? Wow.
You did.
Well, there's a few of them. I don't know if I told the one where he didn't know which album came out when, and like
Not that one.
Queensryche was never metal. Okay, it's probably the one we're referring to then. Yeah.
Yes.
Queensryche was never metal. Queensryche, nobody knew Queensryche until Silent Lucidity. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? You opened for Metallica on an arena tour. Like, I don't know.
We'll make people search for that interview because
Search for that interview.
I don't promote that publication much, so they can search for it.
Nice. Well played.
Well, Sean, those are all the questions I have for you today. The new Death Dealer album is Reign of Steel. It comes out January 23rd, 2026 through Massacre Records. It's a great album. I want to thank you for taking the time to tell me more about it today.
And you know what? You can listen to the whole album on Spotify for free. It's incredible. The day it comes out, you can just listen to it for free. It's going to be amazing. But go ahead and pre-order it on Massacre Records.
And Massacre makes some great vinyl, and us old guys love our vinyl.
The vinyl's I can't wait to see that album cover on vinyl, actually. Thanks for having me, bro. That was fun.